Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to show you how to paint this fantasy wolf. We're just going to see half of the wolf's face, making it really dramatic with some pretty northern lights in the background. And at this point, I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. I've got somewhat of an idea of where I want to go with this in my mind, but until it's completely finished, I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to add to this. You guys know because you're seeing the thumbnail that brought you here to this video. But I'm kind of envisioning, so the half of the wolf's face with some northern lights, and then I'm going to just pull it into the fur on the edge. I'm going to start to intuitively make up a fantasy landscape, probably some trees, maybe some waterfalls, and we'll go from there. So wish me luck, enjoy this video, and I'm going to talk throughout the process and tell you guys what I'm doing, explain the brush strokes, the techniques I'm using, as well as the colors and the brushes. To start, I've got this 18 by 24 canvas. I have a 2.5 inch flat blending brush. I've got some phthalo blue, and I'm just going to squeeze out a bunch of that because this is a large canvas, so I'm going to go through quite a bit of paint. I've also got some bright aqua green here, or turquoise, so I'm going to add a bunch of that as well. And I've got some titanium white. I'll just add the rest of it there. So I'm going to get my brush pretty saturated with a bit of water and paint, and I'm going to take all three colors, all three just like that. And I'm just going to start making some pretty designs. A little bit more, along with some water. So just making some really wiggly patterns here with my brush, and all three of the colors. Now I know my wolf is going to come down in this section, so I'm not too concerned about completely covering that part up. And I'll come over to this side now. I'm going to start to wiggle and turn it down towards the center and curve over with my brush here. I'm going to get the edges of the canvas too, just so that I can continue around with the painting and those same colors. Use a little bit more white. So really fun and easy way to create your backgrounds. And then I'm just going to go through, kind of blur this up to make it look more like Northern Lights. Isn't that cool? You can just really easily do it like that. I'm going to just take a little bit more white now and start from the bottom. Okay, so this area is all dried off now, and I'm ready to start coming in with the shape of my wolf. I've got some Mars black, I'm going to use some titanium white, and I've got a little bit of burnt sienna to add a little bit of warmth here and there on the wolf, but it's basically going to be black and white or a gray wolf. And we'll be using the beautiful turquoise there for his eyes, or his eye, it's just one eye in this painting. So I'm just going to show you guys easy, simple way of doing this. So you're not going to be intimidated. We're going to break this down into easy to follow along steps. So I'm going to use a number 12 filbert brush to start. Okay, so just with a little bit of a wet brush, I'm going to take some black and some white. We'll just make a dark gray color here. And I'm going to start the wolf right about here at its head. So we're going to just see half of the head. And then, so I'm just tapping with my brush to make it look like it's fur already. So about, I would say 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches from here to here. And then we're going to go on an angle for the ear and round it out and then pull it back in. And we want it to come down lower than the head. And we're going to fill this out with some more fur here. It's going to come out wider, but we're just going to work on the first initial shape here. And I'll fill it in with this gray color. So we've got a nice base to work with. Okay, we'll take some more. And then the face starts to come out. We'll follow that arch from the head and down past the ear, and we'll bring it out a little bit like this. Start adding a few little wisps of fur here, just simple little flicks like this. Little flicks. And then you can also turn your brush like this. I'm just going to turn it like this, and you can make some skinnier hairs like this. So they do start to come out and kind of turn down here, kind of like where, so the eye will be right about here somewhere, or closer, right about there somewhere. I'm just kind of guesstimating right now. And from the eye, have the nose right about here, and then the mouth. So just by, tapping in and adding a few little, blocking in some shadows and light, you can really get a quick idea of the shape of your wolf. Don't make it harder than it is. Just follow along. Simple, simple steps. And then we're just going to have a whole lot of fur going down under his face and down his chest and his neck. So I'm just going to make up some more dark gray here. I'm even going to add a little bit of that burnt sienna. And a little hint of the burnt sienna in here is going to look so nice with the green, because the burnt sienna is very warm and red based, which is the red is very complementary with green. I'm going to start adding a little bit more white now. I'm going to add a line from here, and then I'm going to pull and then bring it out farther and then back in. And then start adding a few little tufts of hair. A little bit more white here, where it'll be the brightest, and it's still a little bit wet, so we're gonna have to wait. We're gonna go and loop around right there, loop around and then bring it down. Around the nose. And take a little bit more white and loop around again. And then start to scumble and pull that paint up and around, shape in the eye. So just pulling and fanning out, curving towards the right. I'm going to go into that black right away and fill in the nose here. And I'm going to bring it down lower and then go right, kind of join the lip of the wolf and then just bring it up a little bit. I've got a little bit of black in here, just a suggestion of black like that, and then we've also got some black, very thin. It's getting a lot thinner as we go down and then up around the side, and I just pulled in a little bit of wet paint there, the lighter highlight color. So I'm just going to add more of my, where it's going to be a bit darker. Wherever I see it darker, I'll add more. And there's tons of pictures of wolves out there. And you can have fun doing your own thing with them. Definitely helps to look at a photo. I'm painting, like I do paint intuitively, but not for portraits and animals. Like I need to see all of the body parts and limbs and everything. And then I like to kind of do my own thing with it, make it a little abstract or fantasy-like, and add my colors. So I'm just coming around, like I said, adding, I'm going to mix a little bit of burnt sienna in with that black, make like a really dark chocolate brown color. So right in this area here, I'll just come in and add that little shape that we looped around. When you break things down into shapes, it really helps. You just got to simplify it. Say I'm just painting a little circle here, I'm just doing a little loop. When you say it out loud while you're doing it, it makes it a lot more simple. I'm going to show you guys the coolest brush to use for making it look more like fur and adding more of those details. So stay tuned for that. Don't skip any parts of the video or you're really going to miss out on some easy tips and painting hacks for painting fur. So from this loop here, the hair comes out a little bit farther, comes out a little bit wider, sticks out a little bit more right here. Get a bit of water on my brush and loosen that paint up. And it starts from where that loop is, and it curves down, and then kind of that width ends just under the face, under the mouth and the face there. And then it comes back in, but like gradually, so kind of on an angle like this. Don't forget to use a little bit of water to help loosen that paint up. I don't use any other mediums, just paint and water. And then just start to tap and pull. Across the bridge of the nose. I'm going to take a little bit more white now. And start from around the nose, loop over, and then push gently and drag. And then up around the eye. A little bit more here. I'm going to dip down, kind of go up. Scumble out all that paint on my brush. Take a little bit more white now. The reason why I'm scumbling around is because it gives it a little bit more texture to the fur. Those really short hairs. I'm going to loop around again here now that it's starting to dry. I can begin to add some more highlights. And then I'm going to very softly tap that together. Don't forget during your painting process to wash any paint that's drying up in your brush and building up there, because it's probably ruining your brush, and it's easy to forget when we get caught up in the moment of painting, right? Okay, I'm just going to start flicking here, little short flicks. I'm going to come in with a patch right here where it's really light. and sort of like a triangle shape. So we'll just paint that triangle that goes around his eye. And then another one, somewhat of another triangle shape there. And then a curve around. And then we're going to start creating little flicks here, have it start to kind of blend in with the darker fur. I'm going to switch over to my number 2 round brush, and I'm going to take some black. I'm going to start working on the eye. You can use any small brush that you want. A liner brush is fine too. I'm going to start right from here. Add a little dab there, and then go down, bring it up, into a little triangle. So again, a little dab, droop down, up, across, into a triangle. We're going to go up on an angle. Halfway across the middle of the eye, or just across to the middle, you guys know what I mean. And then around and down. Go tap in a few little areas here for some whiskers. And then just very lightly add a little bit of hair like this, and I'm picking up a little bit of white. And if you don't have if your white is too dry, then just go back for a little bit. I want it to be more green here, so I'll just work that little blob of black paint out until I make it more of a gray color. There we go. And I'm going to come in and re-add my little loop here at the top. I'm going to make gray color here and just tap a little bit on the top of his nose. A little bit of white, that gray. Okay, I'm going to come in and make the darker parts of the eye a little bit thicker here. And then come around to the edge here of his ear. Okay, and I'm going to take some white, some turquoise, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white in there. we're going to add his eye. So we're going to scoop down, over, bring it up a little bit higher there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more blue and turquoise to make some areas a little darker. I'm just going to tap the bottom of the eye. And all around here. Corner and up. And I'm going to add a lighter shade of, make a lighter shade of turquoise. And I'm going to just make little dabs like this that are going to be closer to the pupil. And then a little bit up top there. And come in with black. Just add a little kind of circle and then pull it out a tiny bit on either side. I'll go back to my eye color again. The first shade that I used, and tap some of that in there. And then turquoise and blue. Tap carefully right around here. And then I need a little white flicker of light up there. I'm going to flatten it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use my rake fan brush. This is a number 3. These are really fun brushes to use. This is the one I was telling you guys about that's really, really awesome and effective for painting fur. So I'm going to come around with white now around his eye. And I'm purposely going to kind of just line it up right there on the corner of his eye. And I'm going to start to flick. Need a little bit more water. Push, and then short little brush strokes like this. And there's little black hairs in there too, so if you pick up some of that black, it's okay. Now I'm going to start mixing a little bit of burnt sienna and black with my white. Add a little bit more black in here. Just making lots of quicker, shorter strokes. I'm going to curve around here slightly. And then from this triangle here, where we left off with the white triangle, we're going to pull some darker bits of fur out here. Go into that black. Take a little bit of white. And here it gets a little bit lighter again. So I'll take some more white. More white again. We'll have some here just at the base of the ear, and then bring that light back. Remember quick little brush strokes for those shorter hairs. It almost looks kind of wavy and wiggly in here, but I'm just going to soften it, and then it'll look naturally more like shorter hairs. I'm going to just pushing on the tip of my brush and come around here and make that stand out a little bit more. More white. And we can start working on where the hair here. We'll just keep going. Slowly building up the layers. I'm going to start to curve my brush in the direction of the fur down here now. And then it starts to change and fan out here. But remember those ones that come out wider. There's a bit more black in there, so I'm just going to pick up some black. I've got a little bit of white in my brush too. Sometimes that's nice to get a little bit of both colors at once. Let's try that. A little bit of each color. I can see how natural that looks already just by doing that. Trick is you gotta have enough water in your brush too. It all plays a part. And then to get a little lighter right in here, there's a few long ones that come out here. I'm going to take a little bit more white. Sort of transition those a little bit better. I have a few little whiskers here. Take a little bit more black and go over that again. Switch over to my round brush so I can have a little bit more control. And a little bit of white, and I'm just going to tap in, pick up a little bit of that black and make some soft gray areas here. Then back over to my white. And then across. And then get a little bit of white on the end of this brush. And add a few little hairs and some whiskers. This time I'm going to leave a darker patch here and start my next layer right in the middle here. Okay, now with black, I add some little hairs here and there with the black, same brush. And I come around very lightly, just leaving a little gap there. The little line. It's more like salt and pepper right in here, but you know, you really can just do anything you want. You can make up the fur pattern, light and dark colors on yours. So right in here, it's darker on the outside. So I'm just going to do sort of like a little outline here. Just quickly wiggle some of this off. Maybe this will start to come into our landscape. But I want to take a bit of white right here. Make this wider, this area. Make this show up more. And you're definitely going to have to go back and add more highlights as the painting progresses. Just coming in here in this area, and I'm going to make it lighter before I come over with some more fur. So we've got our light loop here, and then we're going to follow up here, so it kind of scoops down here and then goes down there. And then we'll just do a thin, dry brush. You can make it look like little bits of short fur by making these quick little wiggles. Okay, I'm going to add some little hairs in here, just using the round brush with white. A few little taps in here. I've got a little liner brush that I'll use for a few whiskers here. I'm just going to use a little bit of white for some. Actually, it helps that I'm picking up a little bit of black, but where I need them to show up a little bit more, just add a little bit like that. And then whatever I don't like, I'll just go over. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Okay, I'm going to go back over to the eye now and add some more highlights. So that turquoise again with a little bit of white. And then more of the phthalo blue, making it a little bit deeper. A little line there. Another one right there. Just defining my nose here a little bit, so going over, making a nice smoother line with the black. And a few more little hairs. Okay, just continuing along here. A little bit more light grayish color. You can add a little bit of warmth with a burnt sienna if you like. I'll add a few more layers here, and then I'll start to add some kind of a fantasy landscape. I'm going to redo that black line up a little bit higher. So it's more like that. Gotta have that water in there, otherwise it's so tricky. But once you get the hang of this brush and you know how much water you need and the right amount of pressure, you're really going to enjoy it. Okay, back over to my black. This works quite well actually. Just gentle push and blend around. Bring this up a little bit higher here. Just a little bit of my light gray color. So it goes up. And then we're going to be like that. And then there's a little line here. And then more at an angle there. Just taking some black, and I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. There we go. Up and then down with black. A few little hairs in here. And I still need to build up some layers here. So I'm just going to keep adding more white. I want to make this look a little bit lighter in here, so I'm just going to do these little taps just to balance out that dark, because I know it's going to dry darker than that. Just making it gray now. A little bit more white right here by the eye. It's going to be a lot brighter there, and I'll probably have to come back later on. Okay, let's just build up a little bit more depth down here. Just washing up my brush here and there, just to make sure that it's not sitting in my, the paint's not sitting in there ruining my brushes. So I always like to remind you guys about that. so you don't forget and possibly ruin your brushes. Okay, a little bit of white and little circles for blending. Okay, a little bit more highlight here inside the eye before I start my fantasy. This is a really fun painting. I just want to add a little bit of a bluey shadow down here. Just to kind of accent. I'm going to go around the nose and the mouth area there, just for a little something extra. Okay, now I'm ready to begin this landscape. So I want to go with the way the fur is kind of fanning out here. And I'm going to switch over to a filbert brush. I think I'm going to use one of my softer ones here. So I've got a number 30 here that I'm going to use. And I'm going to take a little bit of black, turquoise, and blue. Just take all those colors that I've got on here already. More black and have it. I'm just going to start sweeping and pulling over. And have it where you don't know where it starts or ends with a wolf. They're just one. Okay, take some more of that beautiful turquoise. I'm going to take a little bit of turquoise and white. And just start pulling that in there. And I think I want to add some trees, so I'll take that beautiful blue and the turquoise. And we'll just start kind of looks like somewhat of a tree right in here. A little bit of white. Just going to start tapping. I'm going to use number 12 filbert now. A little bit of white tinted with some turquoise. I'm going to start adding some snow. Now as I add it, I'm going to add a little wisp. So it looks like it's becoming one there with our wolf. I think this looks cool already. This is so much fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this. My goal is to help more people learn how to paint and just unlock your creativity and help you develop your skills while you're doing it. Okay, I'm going to take some more of this beautiful, I love phthalo blue, and you guys probably see me using it a lot. This one, phthalo blue and light blue violet, are my favorites. Go ahead. I want to have another one right about here. Okay, I'm going to add some white, little tap for the top. A little bit of black in there, just a little bit. I'll put one, make one a little bit bigger right here. A little bit of white on the top. The ideas are starting to really come to me and I'm getting excited. Starting to envision a landscape within these trees. And I gotta tell you, this is just the most enjoyable way to paint. If you guys can really give it a try you can definitely follow along with this painting. I encourage you to. That's why I'm making it. I want you guys to paint along with me, but I also want you guys to get a feel for your own imagination and learning how to transfer it onto a canvas. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of white here. And I'm just going to simply slide my brush side to side. I'm going to pull it over more towards that tree and then down here. Okay, I've got a 1-inch oval mop brush and I'm going to take a little bit of turquoise and blue. And I'm going to start adding some foliage on the side of this path here. I think this is the second wolf I've painted. I've been doing a lot getting out of my comfort zone a lot more with having a YouTube channel. And I really want to thank you guys for helping me do that, because you're, always giving me ideas and encouraging me to try different things and letting me know what you want to learn how to paint. So, especially my patrons out there. Just gonna pull up here a little bit. A little bit more turquoise. I'm gonna add some more trees in here. So you can do it with, you can add trees with this oval mop brush too. These are, I call them my little magic brushes. And all of you guys that have been painting with this brush, you guys all love it too. Isn't it just like the best brush? You can do so much with it. Okay, I'll add some snow. Add some snow down here as well. These little bushes along the path. And just a little sweep. I like to add a little sweep on the end sometimes just to make it look a little bit more dreamy. So I get the tops of these trees a little bit more. Brush. This is a number 10 angle brush. You can actually use any brush that you want, round, filbert, or any flat. I just want to maybe create, and I'm making the paint transparent by adding a little bit of water to it. I want to add a little bit of steam, or breath coming out of the wolf's face here. I like using the filbert brush for this because I can get around and angle it. Obviously, it's a great brush for making those curves and angles and getting in harder to reach areas. So you got to work quickly with a brush and the paint so that you get that nice blending, soft blending, smoky, foggy effect that you want. I've just got a little bit of water to work with now on my brush. Take a little bit of it off here. Okay, now I'm going to add a few waterfalls. I wonder if you guys were waiting for that. You know I love my waterfalls. So, which brush? I think I'm going to use two. So I'm just going to continue using this and just a little bit of white here. It's tinted with a little bit of blue. And maybe we'll have, so I'm just dropping down right here off the edge. So I've got those whiskers and little hairs. I'm going to soften this off a little bit. Make it look just a little bit more blurry. And I think I want to start my waterfalls over a little bit more because otherwise I think it's going to like make his fur look like it's drooping down too much. I'm not really sure. I just don't like the way that was looking. So I'll have a few tiered waterfalls. And then where this was a path will now be some waterfalls. So see how easy it is to do that, and it's really nice using these angle brushes for this. Take a little bit of blue and turquoise. Just add some little rocks here, just little up and down. I'm going to add a few more snowy highlights with my oval mop brush. was almost done, but I just realized that I need to add a little castle right here. So I'm going to take some white and I'm going to go curve, a light little curve like that. And I'll just add a few sort of close together here, and some skinnier ones for maybe some of the back. And a little bit of blue and turquoise. I don't want this to be too detailed. So it's just a little hint here and there of something like less is more. Add a few little dabs like that for the windows. And then maybe a little wraparound staircase. Maybe we'll have another little one that continues back here. Maybe a little bridge. A little arch like that. I'm just going to add a few snow-covered rocks here for the foreground. And a little bit of movement here at the base of the waterfall. Almost done. I'm going to add a few stars and then it'll all be done. Need some stars to finish it off. I'll add one right about here. So just a little dab. I'm using a little liner brush. This one is a 0. I'll just finish off with a few little whiskers here before I call this one done. And my brightest highlights, I almost forgot, really got to get in here. And add that nice bright white. Okay, this painting is all done. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this and join me today. This was such a fun one to create, and I want to wish you guys happy painting. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel for more. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all very soon in another video. Bye!